Hello, and welcome to another live Q&A session of Hacking with Friends. My name is Kody Kinsey. I am a security researcher with Varonis, and this is Michael, our, I would say, chief data pusher.
Okay. I don't like the way you say that, but okay.
Bit shoveler.
What?
You're streaming.
Okay.
Michael's in charge of the stream. So
I heard
he's
something
the one that shovels
completely
the bits
different.
out into the internet for all of you people to consume.
Yeah,
So,
okay. Yes.
There you go.
I'm the benevolent bit shoveler.
Yeah, like a guy in the back of a train shoveling coal. You're keeping our stream going. So today we are again fully live and also coming to you from space.
Yes, we are actually members of the Starlink beta. And
also the currently private, but hopefully at some point going to not be private, Starlink beta bug bounty program.
Yeah, the Starlink bug bounty program period, I would say.
Yeah. So we are currently testing it out and streaming to you via space. So if there's any lags or delays or anything, then do realize that we're trying out the new Starlink beta, and we are actively poking around with it and have gotten permission to try hacking it and doing some interesting things with it. In particular, I've noticed there's an SSH port open on it. So I'm going to be poking around with that today and seeing if I can identify, not on the stream, unfortunately, but later. I'm going to be seeing if I can identify anything that we can do an actual episode on, because we just set it up last night and we haven't gotten much time to play with it yet.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if y'all are interested in seeing a live stream about the beta, like what it's like, and then doing security stuff on it and whatnot, then let us know in the chat and we'll work on that. We have some clips that I can try to post later of just like the unboxing and stuff if anyone's interested in that.
Yeah, it's a big articulated phased array dish that moves without warning when you're touching it sometimes, so it's a little scary, and it constantly emits like a weird humming noise that it just feels like you shouldn't put your face in front of it.
Yeah.
Which our roommate, by the way, immediately put his face directly in front of the dish while it's like communicating with space.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's low Earth orbit. It's
only
not that
mild
bad,
cancer.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't say, but like it was still a little. Just the noise of it was a little intimidating. So yeah, if you guys have some questions or want us to test some stuff out, we've been getting like 130 megabits.
130 megabits up, or no, 130 megabits down, and then about 20-ish up. So enough to do a live stream.
Yep. So for us, like sometimes at the beginning of this year, we were kind of in the middle of nowhere and there was no good options. And we were really looking for some way that we could continue to do streams. We tried cellular. We got a maximum of 3 bars where we were. We tried satellite. There was like an 8-second lag on connect. It was crazy. So in general, like it really isn't possible for people who are living out in the middle of nowhere to do stuff like this. And this is our first actually stab of being able to do this from anywhere. So
the 2 points I would make is that prior satellite internet, the download speed was as fast as our upload speed. So before, on a good day on HughesNet, we were getting 25 megabits down and about 3 up. And now we're getting a lot more.
So we're going to move on. But anyway, I just wanted to say, if you guys have questions about that, if you want us to hack something, I will say I've scanned the thing, and the little box they give you is based on OpenWRT, and it doesn't even really come with an interface. It's all just app-based. So I'm going to be poking around with that and seeing if I can find any interesting holes in the way that it manages Wi-Fi or authentication or anything else, and it should be fun. But,
or what the default login credentials to the SSH.
That is exactly what I'm trying to bring to us right now. Okay, so also want to give a shout out, hi Zam, and everybody else who's on the stream, like Ian, Mint, Kevin again, Yosef, Steve, Cyber, everyone. Just want to say hi to all of you guys, and thank you for joining us today. It's been a while, and it's nice to see all of you again.
Yeah.
How's your anxiety today? Mine is absolutely crazy.
I didn't get sleep last night.
Yeah.
So if anything goes haywire with the stream, blame it on last night.
So also, you guys should be aware that we have officially launched 2 things. One of them is our new website. You can go to, do you remember the Varonis link by heart?
info.varonis.com/securityforward.
Or hackingwithfriends.com.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to basically see a list of our episodes, stay updated with us, we have launched both a website and then also a email form. So an email sign up So if you want to sign up to win prizes, get notified when we're doing special events, and otherwise just keep up with us, you can sign up there and get all sorts of information from us when we have something interesting to share. So again, we're going to start doing prizes as well. So I have been told that we are... Yeah, that we are able to pick a winner from the people that sign up on the stream today. So if you want to go over to hackingwithfriends.com or varonis.com/securityforward, that's SecurityFWD, then you can sign up to be on our mailing list, and we will email you if you're one of the people who wins a prize.
Actually, I will show you that real quick. So once you go to the Varonis Security Forward website, just go this little box, submit your email. That'll sign you up for our email list, where we'll send out emails telling you what our future live streams are and all of that. And we're going to select a number of random emails that we get during the time of this live stream today and send y'all some awesome swag.
Yeah. And I also, yes, thank you, Zam. Also, if you want to check out all of our work, you can go to hack.gay to see where some of the writing work we've done, and also the conference talks and the website that we run. So yes, if you want to check that out, it has a lot of our other stuff as well. But
is this link on hack.gay?
Not yet, because it's so new, so I need to put it on there. Yeah, but actually, go back to your screen if you can.
Which one's okay?
And then can you scroll down and just show off the whole thing? Look at how nice this website is. The people at Varonis have a whole marketing like graphics department that did this. So big shout out to them for making this. Yeah, very consistent and very simple to understand.
And anyone that wants to know about our schedule, because still a lot of people ask about that, just click on the Google Calendar link.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully it'll populate here in a second. You will get this beautiful calendar.
Yeah, so if you guys want to stay updated, we add events to this and stuff, and it'll let you know when we're doing any of our scheduled stuff. So it's a really easy way to stay up with that.
And that'll just add our events to your own Google Calendar, if you're wondering, because some of those holidays and stuff won't be on there.
Okay, all right. I also have to say, Jude, I see your question, and I will answer it in due time.
Okay. Did you want to start doing comments and chat?
Yeah, okay. So I don't want to reward bad behavior like spamming the channel, but it's kind of funny that the question is how to take over a radio channel. I'm again, stop spamming it. Yeah. But we are about to do literally just that in an upcoming episode. So in one of the previous episodes we very recently did, we did an introduction to software-defined radio, where you can take one of these dongles that costs like $25 or less, plug it into your computer, and start scanning on a bunch of radio frequencies. Now, if you have a Raspberry Pi, we're about to do an upcoming live stream where over a short range, you can overpower pretty much over frequency and play an audio file over whatever should be playing, which is hilarious. And also a little sketchy because of some of the reasons we'll go to on that stream, but it's basically not filtered, and the frequency bleeds over onto a lot of other stuff that could be important. So doing this and trying to scale it up is actually a really terrible idea, but over a short range, you can even use just the pin without anything attached to it to take over the radio connection of like a little radio or something like that. So it's a really cool way of doing what's called a broadcast signal intrusion, which was very famously done in the Max Headroom incident, which is a great read if you guys want to Google that. That's Max Headroom, enough room for your head. Yeah, so we're going to be doing a demonstration of like the audio version of that, which still works really well even today. But be aware that doing this over, doing it over like a foot or so is fine. Trying to do this over a longer distance is going to get you in trouble.
Yeah, I think because legally you're supposed to do it in like a Faraday cage.
Yeah,
according to like the FCC.
I mean, I really figure if your range is about like 6 inches, from the device, then like you're really you're probably okay, like not attaching a wire to the pin and then extending it, but like just being aware that this is an attack that can happen and observing it over a very short distance, I think is probably fine to do. Again, check your local laws, and to the person spamming the chat, again, this is probably illegal. So taking over a radio channel or taking over a radio station is pretty easy. Like you can just basically like locally broadcast something that's stronger than the distant like transmitter, and that's pretty easy to do. But doing it cleanly so that it doesn't interfere with other stations, your best bet is actually just getting like one of those FM radio transmitters that allows you to like replay audio and then allows you to also pick the station. Those are actually legal. They're like an approved device, and you can take over a radio station by just seeing what radio station someone else is listening to and tuning one of those to the same station and playing whatever you want.
Yeah,
so it's a hack, but it works.
And to answer your question, Steve, yes, there is being a ham, or basically an amateur radio operator. Although that usually isn't like in the FM spectrum. Being a ham gives you certain area spectrum that you can.
It's like unlicensed spectrum.
It's licensed for hams.
Right.
And then there's different levels of ham license that you can get that will allow you to operate in different levels of those bands. So you can look into that if you're interested. But yeah, did you want to go?
Yosifest, what's the best way to learn coding for hacking, and when to know when you're ready to move on to the next language? That really depends on what your goals are. Like if you want to just get started with hacking and then you want to learn enough to be able to create your own tools, then it's relatively simple. You can jump into a language like Python, learn how to work with APIs, and be able to write your own tools relatively simply if you're not trying to be a computer scientist and you just want to be a generalist that's pretty good with like Python, for example. But if you want to be able to do something that's a little bit more I guess like computer sciencey, like if that's the field you want to go into, then probably getting to the point where you can understand how to run an exploit or create an exploit is what a lot of security people really want to do. Although for me, that's not a goal. I just like being able to mess around with Python to the point that I can use someone else's tool, modify it, or like create a very basic one with APIs.
Yeah.
So I would say don't go too crazy with it if you're not trying to be a computer scientist. You just want to be a security person. But you can take it all the way to the point you're developing your own exploits if that's what you want to do.
And I have some of the comments we can pull up. So the first one was thoughts on the Thinkpad X1 Extreme. And then I think there was another one related to that, which was what laptops do we recommend? Which is something we've covered on previous live streams, but
it's hard to we don't really have a recommendation. Somebody send us laptops for the love of God. I've tried out one hyper secure Linux laptop that ended up just deleting all my data, so I'm not even going to mention them because it's so secure not even I can access it. But insofar as I really enjoyed an old ThinkPad that I have, but it's not the newest thing, so I'm not going to tell you to go buy an old ThinkPad because it's not the most practical idea. But I mean, I don't have frankly the money to just continuously buy brand new laptops and test them yet. So at some point, if somebody from Lenovo or somebody else wants to send us a laptop, we'll try it. Dell wants to send us an XPS. Basically, I've heard that ThinkPads and Dell XPS are really nice for Linux people that are just getting started or want to really go for a computer that's going to be Linux focused. Then again, I've only tried the ThinkPad. So
and what about the Kali NetHunter?
Kali NetHunter, we're working with Zam on that.
Okay.
Sorry, the election threw something in the wrench, but we're talking to our people in Los Angeles to see if we can do an episode on Kali NetHunter. So stand by on that.
Okay. And then.
One question is, if you were going to focus on one application for Wi-Fi hacking and know it backwards and forwards, what would it be? Wireshark? I mean, Wireshark is a really, really solid choice. Frankly, Wireshark allows you to understand, with a little bit of networking background, exactly what's happening on a network on a granular level, and both detects attacks. I mean, if you're trying to be a blue team, Wireshark. It'll let you know if someone's hacking the network, what effect your attack is having on the network. Yeah, I really recommend Wireshark, but it is complicated and there's a learning curve. So you have to learn step by step, and it's very overwhelming at first, and there's 1,000 buttons, and I know how to use 50 of them, and I consider myself pretty well experienced with it. So for actually getting started with hacking, I would say things like AirGetIn will walk you through using command line tools so that you understand how these attacks work and then see the payoff at the end. And then things like BetterCap will keep you on the bleeding edge of different types of attacks against networks that have, and these programs have pretty good documentation. They're reliable, and they're just kind of spicy enough that you're going to get access to some of the latest, things that allow you to do being able to grab a Wi-Fi handshake without actually needing a second device there. That sort of stuff is available in BetterCap. You could probably do it in Wireshark, but it would be torturous. So using the most cutting edge tools in a version or a package that's like pretty well documented, like BetterCap or AirGeddon if you're more of a beginner, I think is a good way to do that.
I'm going to answer another laptop question real quick. Kevin was asking if he should buy a gaming laptop for the GPU power. Yes, you're correct. GPU power can help with cracking and hashing and stuff like that. However, I wouldn't really blow my budget to get a really nice gaming laptop. If you're going to do cracking on a laptop, then just offload it to a server, like use Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud Shell or something else like that. Or take that same amount of money, buy a nice GPU for desktop, and just do a little desktop build to do your hashing on. That's what I would recommend, but just my 2 cents there.
I disagree, but have no opinion. So I also have to thank VoidBite for our new alternative name, The Adventures of No Blink and Beanie Boy.
Yes, I enjoyed that one as well.
So, okay, do we have a couple questions that are actually from the videos?
We already answered one of them, but
Oh, okay. One thing I want to mention is if you guys go and leave questions on the YouTube videos that, or rather the recordings of these streams, we will specifically try to answer them on the stream. So just know that we see all of them, and the best ones we will try to answer, which was what? Oh, really?
Yeah, I put it way too far away.
That's very funny.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can't even read that.
It just says, amazing spooky.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No,
Are
it
there
was
any clue to send these types Windows PC to? I can't read that. Why would you put that there?
Oh, yeah, no, it was about could you do it on the Windows PC so basically all our haunting for Halloween was targeting SSH on Ubuntu or a Linux platform. Could we do something similar against a Windows platform?
Yeah, but it's all going to be PowerShell, so it's going to be totally different in terms of syntax. But the conceptual stuff, like scheduling annoying stuff, like, for example, Michael, what happens every Sunday?
Nothing happens every Sunday because I know how to use Task Scheduler, and I also know how to look at recent activities on my computer when it's left unattended.
Okay, well, for 2 weeks, Michael would have a calculator pop open on his computer every Sunday like clockwork, and he would always think that I snuck into his room to do it, but I actually just set a task manager task to go off on a certain day and just open the calculator on his PC. Yeah. So yes, it's totally possible to do these stupid pranks, in a Windows system with PowerShell, and I've been learning how to do them, and Michael has been trying to catch me.
The task scheduler is probably the best because that's the place people would last look. Like it was very obvious. Like anytime he would try to do anything on PowerShell, because I could just up arrow to see the previous run command, and then I could just like show hidden files on my desktop to see the PowerShell scripts and stuff like that, and then I would alter them to say mean things when he would try to run them.
So VoidBite also asked if what's the best way to reach out to us if you work for like a nonprofit or like somewhere else that you think would be, I don't know, benefited by something that we do. You can always reach out to me on Twitter, but I'm overwhelmed, so just don't expect a very fast reply. If it's something very official, like you're gonna like email me from like your business account and like you have something like imminent that needs to happen, then you can probably find me through the Verona's marketing department. Like, but it won't be me you speak to first. So make sure your idea makes sense.
Yeah. I was gonna say honestly, like if you do make a comment, because we have so few subs right now, then I read like all the comments.
Yeah, but we don't like send out or
we don't do official business stuff.
Contact information through YouTube comments is like not the best. So like if you you can reach out to me on Twitter. I will eventually look at it, but just don't expect it to be very fast because like I get a lot of really crazy comment direct.
Or you
messages.
can add me on Twitter as well.
Yeah, Michael gets far fewer. So yes, send Michael a direct message if he checks them.
The _Hoyd. I'll link it in.
Yeah, but like for example,
later.
we're right now about to do training for the Norwegian Institute of Journalism, who we love because A, Norway is beautiful and amazing. We love traveling there, and B, journalists genuinely benefit from the OSINT stuff that we do a lot. I love working with them. They have super interesting use cases, and I learn a lot every time. So yeah, like if there's some nonprofit or something else that you're associated with that especially journalists and stuff like that, then we like to hear about that sort of stuff. We don't do it for free, so like please realize that our time is limited. We're super busy, but we do like to help people out with understanding how cybersecurity works, understanding how OSINT works, and it's been a lot of fun.
This is another question we frequently get across our various platforms, and that is, do we have a Discord? And the short answer is no.
So my answer is we refer people to our friend Stefan's Discord server. Stefan has been a guest on our show many times. He's the creator of the Wi-Fi D author, and he has an excellent Discord community, which I think is really great. So if you want to check that out, I will drop the link in the chat. But that is the one that we recommend joining because we ourselves do not maintain one. I used to have like 5 Discord servers. It got crazy.
It's very time-consuming to maintain.
Yep.
So, yeah, we focus our resources towards other endeavors. You want to go to the next comment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, yay, another one I put way too far away.
Wait, okay, go ahead and read that. Can you look on your computer, like in OBS or something, so it's not so far away?
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I'm going to answer a question from Steve, who says that his card doesn't support monitor mode to do Wi-Fi hacking stuff. That is a really common problem, and our 2 go-to brands that we recommend are Alpha Wireless is number 1. Their stuff is slightly more expensive than the cheapest network adapters you can find, but it always works, and they have excellent customer support, and we work with them a lot, and they actually go way out of their way to make sure the community is involved in new releases of their products and stuff. So we recommend Alpha pretty much before anyone else. That's ALFA. They're based in Taiwan, and they're great. A secondary company that we've worked with is Panda Wireless. Their stuff is often compatible with Kali Linux. It's really small and discreet, and it's really cheap. You can find them on Amazon for like nothing. So for like $8 to $15, you can get started with a little. It looks like a USB thumb drive, and most people can't tell the difference between that and something else. It just looks like a generic device as opposed to like very clearly a wireless network adapter. So if you're sitting in a coffee shop and you don't want to get some bros called on you, like as happened to me for having too many wireless adapters sticking out of my computer, then you can avoid an awkward conversation by having like a low profile one, like one from Panda Wireless, and it just looks like you have like a thumb drive plugged in or something. That really happened to me. They really came up and were like, "Excuse me, sir, we need to know what you're doing. These guys over here say that that's way more wireless network adapters than is normal." I was like, "Do you even know what those words mean? Are you just trusting these dudes?"
Yeah, that does seem like unsolicited harassment.
Yeah, it's like, "I'm sorry, sir, you have too many computer guns." I'm like, "What is that? Like, really?" Like, I'm talking to the management because these tech bros like ratted me out for too many wireless network adapters. Okay. By the way, I was hacking Wi-Fi, so they were 100% right. But still, I'm indignant.
Okay, so now I can read the comments. A lot of this stuff seems kind of advanced. Could you recommend some content for someone just starting out? I want to learn this stuff, but it just seems overwhelming when I watch this. I like this, but I'm thinking right now I'm way over my head at this point. Also, is there a written guide on how to set this all up? And that was on the CTF microcontroller.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a very common thing because when you're using a wireless network adapter, you usually have like a Linux computer behind it, and there's a ton of documentation about getting started with these tools. Some of the stuff we're teaching is a little bit cutting edge. We're using like little microcontrollers like this like ESP8266 based D1 MIDI development board to do a lot of the Wi-Fi hacking that used to rely on something that at a minimum was like a Raspberry Pi, like a Linux computer attached to a network adapter. This is able to kind of be like an all-in-one device, but it's a little bit more advanced. It's maybe not as much for beginners, or at least it takes a little bit more getting used to. So there's a couple of things you can do. You can, if you want to use a device like this, which is what they were replying to, then you can follow some of the classes we've done. So we have a class that we put up on Udemy, I think, specifically for using low-cost microcontrollers like this. We also did a talk at the Hope conference about how all this works. That can kind of lead you through like the whole like theory and everything. It's like an hour long, and we have the creator. Oh no, wait, Stefan was on that one too. Yeah. Oh no, it's you.
No,
okay, cool.
no.
So Stefan is in the talk from the Hope conference. Oh, by the way, thank you Hope conference for the cool shirt. I just got this yesterday. But yeah, so we did a talk at the Hope conference where Stefan's actually explaining his creation, how it works, why it works. So if you're just getting started and you're a little confused about using the ESP8266 for hacking, you can check out our talk. You just go to hack.gay and look for the Hope conference talk. where we go into how all this stuff works, and we can kind of
Yeah.
explain it and you through it.
And to answer your question, Sam, you know how people have like the fidget cubes? That's the way Kody uses ESP8266.
Oh yeah, this is my stress reliever. Like when
Yeah.
we're doing takes and stuff, like this is like, if we don't have this, we can't film.
Yeah, literally, we've had to pause filming for 10 minutes before while I looked for an ESP8266.
I wouldn't admit to being so unprepared on video, Michael. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, you want me to go to the next question?
Yeah, I'm also going to grab a link to Spacehoon's server. It's going to be valid for 1 day. So if you're on the stream right now, then I will drop this in just a little bit.
Oh, it's another one I need to pull up.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Is there
hopefully
any
this
call-
goes through. I just dropped the link. This is just valid for today. So if you're in the stream and you want to join Spacehoon, again, this is not my Discord server. I am active in it, so I do check the messages every once in a while. But there's a good community here of other hackers and people who just really enjoy getting into this stuff. And yeah, just make sure to read the rules of the community, respect them, and you will be welcome.
So is there any call spoofing tool for Kali Linux?
Call spoofing. There's some VoIP stuff, but I have never explored it myself. So unfortunately, I don't have a satisfactory answer for that because I've never explored it because it seems complicated.
Yeah, didn't we do a Nullbyte video on something about call spoofing? But it was an app-based
Yeah,
thing,
so you can do
I
call
think.
spoofing with like a mobile application that just does that, but it's
Yeah.
not
So-
not exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So I've got a question. One is, why aren't you talking about hacking via Bluetooth? Well, Moo, there's a conspiracy, and we're part of it. We're not supposed to talk about it because the man doesn't want us to.
Well, that's actually something I've thought about before is Bluetooth hacking doesn't get talked about a ton.
Yeah, okay, so I'll tell you why. You want to know the real reason? Fine, I'll tell you. The reason is because Bluetooth is complicated and stupid compared to Wi-Fi when it comes to hacking because, unless you're actually physically there when these two devices first talk, finding out what's going on is so complicated because they're constantly jumping to different frequencies. They use a technique of signal hopping that makes it really difficult to tell what's going on and follow a stream of communication unless you already know the key that was shared in the first transaction. So there's some interesting attacks you can do with Bluetooth. A lot of them have already been patched. So finding fundamental flaws the way that there have been in Wi-Fi is more difficult with Bluetooth. So there's not as many good Bluetooth hacking tools because of the fundamental nature of Bluetooth. And also the fact that it's used pretty transactionally. It requires more permissions to do. And in general, it's harder to spoof an open Bluetooth network.
Yeah.
It doesn't really exist.
Well,
It's a peer-to-peer connection. So getting the same way I can convince somebody to connect to my fake Wi-Fi network, it's a bit harder to convince somebody that I'm a device they've already exchanged a secret key with, and I don't know the secret key for some reason.
Yeah. Well, and also people just generally use Bluetooth slightly less often. It's not. I mean, yes, Bluetooth headphones are a lot more prevalent, so people do have it on more often. But I find that not. You can expect everyone to have Wi-Fi on their smartphone.
Now, let me
but
tell you
not
about Bluetooth surveillance. Bluetooth surveillance is really sexy, and I actually almost wrote an article for Motherboard about it until I decided not to because of the way the whole Naomi Wu thing went. But the article I was going to write was on the fact that police body cameras are mostly made by a company which I interviewed who never thought it would be necessary to randomize the MAC address of these things. So basically, they have the same MAC address, which is very traceable all of the time. So anybody wearing one of these devices, and by the way, they also manufacture smart holsters that have the same, arguably flaw, which means that from maybe a half block away, a block away, you could tell if someone is coming around the corner wearing one of these devices. You can basically scan and say oh, there's a police device nearby, it's a camera, and it's specifically this camera, which has been seen in these other areas. So projects like Wiggle Wi-Fi, where you have a bunch of devices with an app that's recording the Bluetooth signal, could basically give the location history of an officer or somebody else with a smart holster just by registering all the places they've been, kind of a mobile automated license plate scanner, but instead of license plates, we're taking down Bluetooth devices we see. So Bluetooth surveillance is sexy as hell and allows you to do things like track vehicles and other devices that don't bother to randomize their MAC address, and I'm super into that, but we haven't done anything on it because we're other stuff. But yeah, expect something about that in the future.
We could do a live stream on that.
Yeah, actually, the company I interviewed even offered to send me one of their new updated police body cameras to hack away at a little bit. So if you guys are interested in that, please let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll
do that.
We'll get a police body camera and see if we can poke around with the Bluetooth and prove that they were not part of some conspiracy to not talk about Bluetooth hacking.
Yeah. Okay. So, next comment. Give me just a second here. Wait, no, I think.
Oh yeah,
right.
Guys, please ask Zam about the SIP tools, because apparently he loves hacking SIP, and I barely know what that is.
By the way, would you please be able to make a video on how to write ISO images to SD cards on Debian machine? Etcher is almost impossible to install on Kali or Parrot.
Really?
Frowny
That's too bad.
face.
Yeah, I mean, there's the DD command, but like it's
Yeah,
risky.
honestly, I've always used Etcher, so that's what I'm just most familiar with.
No, but I mean, there's instructions for step-by-step to, just like copy one disk to another disk, but you have to be really, really clear about which disk you're writing to. So just, find a good tutorial and follow it like step by step by step. Make sure it was recent and it was written within the last year. If you're doing a Google search, make sure to filter only stuff by the last year, because if you try to do it running an old tutorial, you could mess up. So, I mean, that's really why using like some sort of GUI front end is good for beginners to be able to write an ISO file. It's just like, if you mess up the command line, then, your disk is gone.
Yeah, trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, I got another fun comment here. Why does Kody remind me of the lead singer from AFI, Miss Murder, LOL? I can picture him singing to his minions of hackers. I know how much you love minions.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but in spite of working in a music venue for 4 years, I do not sing. Sorry, but I do whistle a lot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, a lot. I'm pretty good at it.
He's the... Ugh.
Yeah, no.
You'll just be in the house and you'll just hear
Fun
off in
fact.
the distance whistling.
Fun fact, can't whistle.
I can whistle.
Oh, really? Okay, all right. Cool. Moving on.
I made noises with my lips.
And Adam pointed out that, yes, I did have a video on some really interesting, I think it's like Nordic NFC or something like that, tools you can download on an Android phone that allow you to do some level of Bluetooth surveillance or hacking. They're pretty basic, but you can still see devices around you, query their properties. You can see like the battery level of like nearby like headphones and stuff, which is like kind of interesting. Enough for you to identify which is which and maybe start tracking a device.
Hello, Kody. What do you think about contact tracing? Is it potentially vulnerable?
Yes, it is potentially vulnerable. So contact tracing is something where if it's not done correctly and according to really good math, allows a lot of abuses of privacy. But I think that the intention is critical. It's just like, I don't live in a country that like cares about the pandemic, really. So contact tracing like seemed kind of pointless if like we're not going to do anything about it. But in countries that do care about the pandemic, then contact tracing is essential, and it's how you keep, the virus like out of your country. Like you have a small flare up, you find everyone. We have basically decided that like the virus is our newest celebrity, so I guess we have to like make offerings to it. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy a goat, I guess. Who knows?
Okay, so Daniel, would you be able to build an ISM catcher using HackRF? And short answer is yes. I don't know all the details about it. I haven't actually done it myself, but you should be able to do that. I think you would need two if you want to do the full transmit and receive, because HackRF is only half duplex. You could also look into the Lime SDR. Lime SDR also has like a portable cellular base station thing, so you could use that as a rogue cell tower.
Also, I have to reply to Adam L., who had a question regarding some proven SaaS pass last solutions for SME businesses. I'm sorry, sir, if you're trying to pass some sort of spell on me, it's not going to work. Witchcraft isn't real.
Hocus pocus.
I'm sorry. This is a lot of business jargon. I know what software as a service is, but pass and last solutions for SME, I'm not totally sure. Sorry, I can't be more detailed than that. But I don't believe in curses, sir.
Okay, this one's an interesting one. Also, why do you think hospitals always use old legacy OS and servers? They're consistently being attacked, which sucks. And I would note along those lines, hospitals aren't the only ones like that. There's tons of critical infrastructure across the United States and world that runs legacy stuff.
Did you know that most wind turbines run Windows XP?
Yeah, I actually also like there's
But that's not the point.
yeah, there's multiple like airports that run.
If you guys want to look at the real world version of like why this is happening, it's because, for example, there's I went to a dental clinic in this area, and I found out that in an area with a pretty good amount of people, like there's one IT person for all medical offices involved in any sort of dentistry, oral surgeons, everybody. All of those IT needs are serviced by one man who is busy and cannot adequately service any of them. They all have critical problems, and the reason that they can't do anything about it is, one, they don't allocate the budget because it's not a profit center. They don't see it as a problem until they get attacked, and two, it's genuinely hard. Once they trust someone, it's genuinely hard for them to get enough of their time to set the stuff up properly without allocating someone to specifically work for their company doing this full time. And because most of these offices are either independent, hospitals are bigger, so they don't have as much of an excuse, but they're still subject to the same kind of regional talent shortages that you see with, I don't know, I have a lot of different ideas of how these sort of things could be improved, but you generally see a lot of really bad stuff in medical offices in general because of these two reasons, where they just they don't see it as worth investing.
I'm not an expert on the subject, but it is pretty multifaceted, and what I see is the budget thing you mentioned. So it's not a part of the business that they see as a huge profit center, so they don't dedicate enough budget to it. And then tied into that is all these cross dependencies, right? You'll have a bunch of equipment, maybe that's a little older, that relies on stuff that's running on that legacy hardware. And to revamp the whole thing, you would maybe have to have downtime, which is unacceptable, or have a huge budget, which also they can't, use. So that's what I know about the subject.
By the way, yes, I do find it ironic that Watch Dogs Legions got hacked, got leaked by hackers. But I mean, if hackers really like your game, like, what do you think they're gonna wait?
Yeah. Are there any alternatives for SSL stripping?
So SSL stripping, for people who are not aware what that is downgrading or otherwise removing protections on the secure communications between a server and a client. So no, not really. I mean, there's some man-in-the-middle stuff, but really SSL stripping has not improved too much that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Okay, you want me to do another comment then?
Yeah.
Oh, cookie. Give me a second. Oh no. Any giveaway? Yes, we mentioned the giveaway before. So I dropped the link in the chat. I'll drop the link in the chat again. Go here, sign up for the email. Once we have emails at the end of this, we will pick some random people and give those out. Yeah, sorry, I'm multitasking here.
That's okay. I just ordered us lunch. Yeah, okay. Also, Zam pointed out that contact tracing features of mobile operating systems are supported to improve privacy when doing the actual contact tracing. So yeah, there's also steps you can do approving certain permissions if they still allow the functionality of these apps that might improve your privacy if there's optional stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, I believe that they are important.
So, I'm glad I found you here, Kody. Are you still going to be doing Cyber Weapons Lab episodes, or is this your new home for all things tech?
So we can't make any big announcements about Cyber Weapons Lab, but there are some changes coming down the pipeline, which we're really excited about. So there's going to be new episodes coming out, and that's all we can say. But we've made some big changes. It's really exciting. As for this channel, you can expect Cyber Weapons Lab style episodes that are probably around the same mix of our other co-hosts, such as Nick and sometimes Michael, that are going to be airing on a different channel. And then you're going to be seeing much more of me on this channel because I'm going to be hosting it 2, sometimes 3 times a week. So this is definitely the best place to go if you want to both see me live and also be able to stay up to date with the latest stuff that we're doing, because we have a lot of freedom on the live stream. Like if something doesn't work out, we can just move on to the next thing. Whereas if something doesn't work on Nullbyte, it doesn't get aired. So this is kind of where we like test out a lot of really great stuff, show you guys things that we're working on, and otherwise keep you up to date with what's going on. And Nullbyte is still kind of a channel where we test out security tools and, for the ones that work anyway, show off what they can do and how to get started with them.
Yeah. Okay. So next question. Guys, how can I shut down onion sites? Do you want to address that?
You can't. They live in the internet.
I was going to say become the FBI.
Yeah, become the FBI. Oh, Zam, when are you asking me when I'm going to get my haircut? How do you safely get a haircut in a pandemic, like especially during a surge? I don't know. I don't know. I was honestly thinking of just getting an increasing variety of hats. I've actually made some investments in the last couple of weeks in a different, I guess, like assortment of hats to express my moods. So you can look forward to me investing in hats until I figure out how to safely get a haircut from someone I sort of trust, because we're out in the sticks and I'm not going into some like cowboy saloon to get my haircut and get sick.
Let's just say that people around where we live don't believe in masks. So I don't exactly trust them.
Yeah, no, the people around where we live like protest with guns outside of like a Walmart for having like mask restrictions. So I'm good on the haircut for a little bit. I hope you guys like it, because nothing I can do.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have another? Let's see.
Oh, yeah, medical sector needs proper defense. It's sad that people hack people devoted to serve vulnerable people. I would direct you guys also to the recent hack of I believe it was like a psychology clinic, where the hackers went after the private notes on the patients and then blackmailed the individual patients, which is just ransomware then. Usually when hackers get into stuff, they decide like, okay, like, is this information worth more to me than it is to them? And usually the answer is it's worth more to the business than it is to the hackers. So they just ransomware the whole thing. But these hackers made the decision that, no, this data is worth more to me than it is to them, and went ahead and actually started blackmailing people. So, these medical businesses don't realize that they are vulnerable on multiple fronts. Like, yeah, you could get ransomware, or all of your clients could be blackmailed. And, it's pretty horrible, but at the same time, you have to expect people to cross the line on stuff like this. And as businesses like psychology offices and other sorts of medical clinics go online, you're going to see more of these breaches. And if it's something that people would pay to keep quiet, or make sure that, those psychology notes for 10 years or whatever aren't released to the internet, there's a lot of people that might pay that ransom, and it sucks. So it's really probably a good idea for those businesses to invest more in cybersecurity and see that at least they shouldn't be the lowest hanging fruit. But again, they don't make a ton of money, and they don't see these sorts of things as big targets for what's going to make their business great, or what customers are looking for.
Is Wi-Fi hacking the same for 2.4 and 5 gigahertz? I ask because I noticed that the new Wi-Fi Pineapple doesn't support 5 gigahertz. Could that be because of cost?
Probably. No. So there's a little bit of a difference between hacking 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. There's different channels involved. So there's more kind of space in those channels, and there's less overlap, which is cool. But you also need, of course, a device that supports 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Most wireless network adapters that are cheap will only support one. And that's a problem a lot of people have. The D1 Mini only supports 2.4. So you do need to make an extra investment. And there's some tools that can use 5 gigahertz, but not all Wi-Fi hacking tools do. So just be aware that there's a little bit less compatibility for 5 gigahertz hacking, because it's a little bit more new. But it's something that is still easy to do, provided you specifically look for it and set the things up properly. Because again, some of these newer wireless network adapters might not automatically have their drivers installed in Kali. So you might need to run a command or two in order to get them set up.
Yeah, so there was a question regarding doing or I'll just read. Any good references on what GPUs to use for password cracking machine? I cannot seem to find any up-to-date information looking to build a low-cost cracking setup. The video I'm trying to reference is one on Hack 5. It is several years old, but it's by some of the founders of, I think, John the Ripper, and it's about their password cracking machine. But also, the main thing I would say is GPU like cryptocurrency mining is just the same thing. So unless you know like you're targeting hashing with like a specific algorithm, then you can look into what GPUs are best for that specific algorithm. Otherwise, just look at some of the mining websites that show like best bang per buck GPUs and use those.
Yeah, so the suggestions are that we learn to cut hair and then cut each other's hair. So I need you guys to understand that to survive the pandemic, I prank Michael constantly. I get him like multiple times a day on multiple different fronts. So like allowing him to cut my hair is the dumbest thing I could possibly do.
It is the best idea ever.
No, it just can't
He
happen.
literally walked down to the studio today, and the first thing he said to me was an insult. So yes, I would cut his hair so good.
I would say it was an observation, but sure. But yeah, so also we have a question, which is, what is your most memorable longtime laptop? I'll answer that. I had a series of PC laptops that would fry themselves, die, or otherwise just stop working after about a year and a half. And then I got my first MacBook, which was the original polycarbonate white one. And that thing lasted for like 8 years. It was crazy. I learned a lot on it. I learned how to hack Wi-Fi on it. It was just an absolute beast. So I would say that was probably my favorite laptop that I've had.
Yeah. I had a MSI laptop. I don't remember which one. Like
I've seen. You mean the Battleship with its like
it was what that person earlier was talking about, a gaming laptop. It was a Battleship, not as portable as I would have liked, but it was nice. Until it turned into a desktop when the screen broke and I was too cheap to replace it. So someone here is saying, I'm slightly concerned why anyone would want a password cracking machine unless you're doing red teaming or something.
Well, I mean, okay, if you want to build a password cracking machine, I'm assuming you're doing security research. So I myself am interested in Wi-Fi hacking, and that in and of itself requires password cracking. So I mean, like, are you saying like I'm suspicious because I have a password cracking rig? Because my in order to be good at any one of these things, like you need to have the right hardware to test out the tools, make observations, maybe discover something new and contribute it back to the security. Maybe, you know, through poking around with my hardware cracking rig, which doesn't exist, I would be able to discover some vulnerability that makes the overall security better for everyone. Like, that's kind of the point. Yeah, of course, there's going to be criminals who are using it, but honestly, it's easier for them to just steal credit cards and then just get an AWS account and use somebody else's hardware. So, like, the average criminal is, like, savvy enough to just run a virtual whatever, a VPS, using something like, I don't know, someone else's Bitcoin, who cares? And do all of this on a virtual server, which can be as big or as small as they want. They're not going to be sinking their own money into a hardware rig that they're going to be doing all their stuff on, because that's more of like a security researcher slash ethical hacker slash gamer thing to do. So I still, you know, I think that unless you're going to be doing a lot of cracking and you're really interested in it, then is it worth it to drop like $2,000 on like a rig that like can crack passwords in like no time at all? Like, I mean, maybe you get locked out a lot, huh?
I mean,
like,
there are other options there. You could offer your downtime as like a service online for other people that want crack. But honestly, like for most people, I think like just using a server is going to be the best option, unless you're literally doing it 24/7, then it really warrants it. But
yeah, no, I'm also not talking smack. Like, legit, that is a legitimate question. Like, why would you want like a password cracking machine when you could like rent one for like, you know, like cents? As opposed to, or dollars, as opposed to, you know, running your own. And it really is a matter of preference, honestly. Like, again, if you're a security researcher like me, and or if you're trying to be a security researcher and you have the means to do so, then yeah, get a cracking rig. Like, it sucks to rely on other people's stuff, you know? So, but is it necessary to get into hacking? Nah.
Okay, so we're kind of out of time.
No, I refuse. We've got so many good questions. But yeah, also, I just wanted to give some news, because why not just like shout out upcoming projects.
Sure.
We're working on a collaboration with Stefan, and this will probably be out in the next like month or so, both to create some really cool Wi-Fi hacking games, some of which we've already showed off on the stream, and also to create some new hardware around the Wi-Fi deauthor project. So stay tuned for that, and we just got to look at some of the stuff today, and it looks really cool. So I can't wait to share that with you guys once it's ready.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, cool. All right, so I guess we are out of time. Sorry, guys, we got to go back to like staring at my Twitter feed and like refreshing to like see what's going on. Hope you guys are enjoying this period of intense anxiety in our country.
Yes.
And yeah, it was nice to forget everything for a while, hang out with you guys, talk about hacking. Things will get better. Let's go ahead and shout out our next live stream, which is going to be our next Q&A live stream, which is going to be not next week, but the week after on Wednesday.
Indeed.
So if you have any great questions in between now and then, make sure to drop them on our YouTube channel. We make sure to go through and pick the best questions every time. Again, if you want to sign up to be one of our new winners for the prizes we are suddenly allowed to give out, which is exciting, you can go over to hackingwithfriends.com or varonis.com/securityforward, that's SecurityFWD, and sign up for our mailing list to be alerted when we go live or when we're scheduling events. And also you can find our calendar there, which is where we schedule all of our planned events. Oops. Although every once in a while we do move something up or go live spontaneously. So make sure you do subscribe to us on YouTube as well.
Cool.
And also a final shout out. Our sometimes co-host Killian is doing his own thing now on the Varonis channel. He's doing the threat update, which is a really great way to stay in touch with all the different, I guess, like malware threats and viruses and other things that different companies that Varonis works with are experiencing and have responded to. So if you want to learn how this stuff works and what real companies are dealing with now, then it's a really good way to catch up on that. So you can check that out on the Varonis brand account. We will see you guys next time. Thank you to all of our regulars and all the new people who caught us for the first time on the stream today. And stay tuned on Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday is the word list episode.
For our next episode, where we're going to be teaching about word lists and how you create them. As I said last time, I think the birds and bees of how word lists are created. We're really going to get in depth, so strap in.
There might even be a part 2.
There might even be a part 2.
Depending on how much you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, cool. We will talk to you guys later. Thank you for joining us. And have a good one. Bye.